I'm going to walk you through using our label maker. This is the machine. So it takes this brass tape here and it puts it in, and this machine is it presses letters into the brass, and it makes a permanent label that we can put up in the garden, and they last for years. We have labels here and there in the garden that have been there since 50s, 60s, and they don't really go bad. They just kind of turn brown as they age. So I get the information that I use to put on these labels from our accession system. So I go through here. This is a map of our garden and all the plants in it. Each of these points represents a plant, and this is in progress. As I map more plants, they go in here. So here I'm gonna make a label for this plant here. It's a mass planting I did this past year of dwarf crested iris. So all of those plants, even though it's like 15 plants, they'll all get one label, and I'll stick that on a little thing in the ground. So let me go ahead and make one of these. It takes a bit of force to work this, but it's recently greased. I greased it this morning, so we're all good to go. All right, what do we have? 2020 63.
Being that this is a botanical garden, you're putting the Latin
Correct,
binomial label and the common name.
Actually, so for these, just kind of for ease, we're only going to be doing the Latin names, and trusting visitors to look those up on their own. This is mainly a tool for us to be able to keep a record of our plants in a physical kind of sense. So what this label tells us, this portion here tells us that this was the 63rd planting of 2020, and this is the first planting from a group of plants that we got. So like we got 250 plants. This is a grouping of 10 that I planted. So this is A. The next grouping of 10 nearby would be B. And this is the scientific name, Iris cristata. So the components. So on this wheel are each of these. If you look in here, you can see the kind of raised forms of each of the letters. So what this machine does is it puts this raised form under here, underneath this brass tape, and then you punch against the brass tape and basically smush it down over the form so you get the letter. So if I press in here, I get the B out here. Each time I press a letter in, if you look over here, this machine does a wonderful thing. It ticks it forward and then it pulls back. So that sets me up for the next letter. I don't have to do anything. Then I can just go D, boom, E, boom. And each time I go to press a letter, this thing makes sure that I get right on the letter. So even if I'm a little off with the F here, it'll slot it right in there. and I get a letter. So I have to apply force on this thing here, or else the letter doesn't really come out. If I kind of do it non-committally, then I'll get a soft letter, which will be harder to see over time. It's even more apparent if you give even less effort. Like for instance, this. Like let's say a J. Almost nothing. So when I'm ready to finish off a label, I bring it up here, and there's this finish button here, and there's a cutting mechanism under here that literally just cuts it with force. And as it cuts it, it ends it with another hole, so I have 2 holes on either side. It's a great machine. There's a space bar here, there's a start bar here. It works well.
How old do you think the machine is?
I looked this up one time. I'd say probably from around the 40s it was made, I could expect.